Hey guys, it's Mars. Welcome back to my channel where I review horror books with a supernatural focus. In today's video, we will be doing episode 6 of indie horror. Horror that you probably haven't heard of because these are all indie authors. Indie horror should definitely be a part of your library, and I'll tell you why. Indie horror offers a unique and fresh take, unlike with mainstream authors who usually have to, it's not like they can't write what they want to write about. Maybe they're not allowed to branch out as much and maybe take as many risks because they don't want to lose money on them. So with indie authors, that's totally out the window. They get to write about whatever they want. And they come from all different backgrounds, different ethnicities, different cultures, different viewpoints, perspectives, and experiences in life. And I think that's really exciting. It can offer completely new takes on, favorite tropes and stuff like that. So it's always really exciting to me because I love indie metal. It's kind of for the same reasons, actually. And I do also love indie horror films as well, because you do get these like really special films that sort of just sneak under the radar, like Possum. If you've never seen Possum, for instance. And so for longtime horror fans, us horror fans who have watched probably almost everything and, we're very familiar with a lot of different themes and tropes and stories. So it's like for those fans, for those type of people, this is a boon. This is a huge thing. And so that's why I always want to support it, because I think it's going to keep the genre going. It's going to keep it fresh. It's going to keep it exciting. So in this video, we have 5 books to talk about. One is a patron's pick, of course. With the patron's pick, I send them 4 synopses with no titles, no authors, no links, nothing. And they just choose the one that they think sounds the most interesting. So we have that. And then we have 4 other books. All of these books were submitted to me through a form that I had sent out. And I'm going to be sharing every single book on there. And of course, if you see a book here today, or more than one book maybe that you want to pick up, all of the links to purchase them or download them will be in the description box below. So be sure to comment down below, let us know your favorite out of the bunch today, and subscribe if you haven't subscribed but would like to. So the patron's pick for this episode is Earthly Bodies by Susan Earlam. And can we just take a moment to appreciate her author photo? It is stunning. This velvet dress and the Betty Page hair looks so just phenomenal, but she has a creepy doll in her arms and this spooky dollhouse in the back. It's a really lovely photograph. I love everything that's going on with this. But this story sounds very cool. Now, this is a body horror and sci-fi horror story. There was a note here from the author, and it says that this made number 30 in Readsy's top 61 best indie books of all time, and that is amazing. Congratulations on that. That is awesome. Now, this story takes place in the future in 2058. Rebecca is a widow, and she receives this amazing invitation to start over, not on Earth, off planet. But while it sounds like humans are either trying to leave or escape or just, start somewhere new, nature on planet Earth has also evolved. It also wants to make a change. Now, this story is a dystopian eco-horror story that spans the ages, where strangers reveal their contribution to an extraordinary act of survival. Span the ages. So I feel like this is going to be an epic. Is it going to be like, starting from 2058, or maybe going back further and then going in more into the future? Some of the characters in this story are an artist who has found a way to paint portraits, but there's something different about it that really gets everybody up in arms, crying heresy. What could that be? I don't know. That's crazy. A military man obsessed with growing something he found on maneuvers far from home. Sounds like somebody wanted to keep a little bit of a souvenir, and look what happened. You see that all the time happening with those like nutrias and like giant snails and stuff, and people bringing them back to the States, to Florida and stuff. And it becoming kind of an epidemic. A lonely geneticist helps her brother with his plan to save humanity, secretly selecting humans to join a mission and escape a ravaged Earth. So maybe Rebecca is one in that group. Harmony with nature is everyone's wish. It is time to be careful what you wish for. Readers of speculative fiction and feminist horror will enjoy this novel. It also says here that Earthly Bodies echoes the visionary environmental scope of The Overstory and Annihilation, with the horror of Naomi Booth's Sealed and a structure more like Station 11. I don't know all of the references here, but I did see Annihilation and I thought that was fantastic. I'm always just craving like real horror sci-fi. It seems like it's very hard to find. There have been some things. It's not like there's none, but it's just like you don't come across it too often. So very excited about this. Again, the patrons know what they're doing. This is a great pick. The cover artwork is also really stunning. I mean, coming off of just recently reading The Ruins by Scott, I just want to say Scott Smith, kind of have a, I don't know, now I have a taste for it, you know? These wild and scary plants. The next one is Vanilla by Mona Kabbani. You probably remember Kabbani from a previous episode we did. This is a dark fantasy, gothic, psychological horror story, and it sounds really chilling. The cure for the sick is in the devil's blood. He invests this magic in children. One child's lives saved in exchange for a sacrifice, and parents are eager to sacrifice. But what happens when the devil comes across a child he cannot find the will to return, a child he wishes to keep? Vanilla sits in the concrete room, the one she has lived in since she can remember, and smiles when the devil enters. She reaches out her arms, lets him cradle her against his chest, and calls him Daddy. Daddy fills her mind with nightmares of the outside, with all its creatures lurking, waiting to steal her from him, and she dreams of staying with him forever. But forever is infeasible. That is, until the devil makes his own sacrifice. So it's an interesting situation here. Definitely an interesting setup. She's been sacrificed by her parents. So I don't think I want to go back there. It seems like it's going to have a lot of interesting, I don't know, conversations maybe about relationships and, what it means to maybe care for someone. I can already feel like the dark fantasy aspect, the gothic aspect, it's very there, it's very strong. So that sounds really, really cool. Very into that. Pray Without Ceasing by Andrew Franks. This is a gothic supernatural, and there's a note here from the author that says, this book is based on a true story. Okay, I always love that. Whether it's true or not, it's still titillating. This church is haunted. For Dalton, the son of a preacher man, a longing to serve both his family and his God may be the thin difference between expectation and salvation. However, when Dalton learns of his brother's kidnapping by a sadistic witch, the unraveling of his family's dark past becomes all too clear. Like a lamb to the slaughter, Dalton bravely wages war on the forces of evil that have plagued his family for generations, and ultimately confronts his own destiny while his brother's soul hangs in the balance. Fighting a war in the hellscape of his father's church, Dalton must challenge the sinister witch, a legion of demonic creatures, and the ghost of his family's past, before hell lays claims to his latest victim. Ensnared in the confrontation of truth and the veil of a hidden past, Dalton learns that ultimately he is the key to abolishing the darkness inside the church. So this has a lot going on. It has demons, it has witches, it has ghosts. It also has the church and family secrets and things like that. So this could be pretty exciting. Death Cleanse by Joseph Pesavento. This is a body horror and post-apocalyptic horror. It's been 7 years since the world was consumed by flesh-eating corpses. After plain trouble, Luther Kilwins, the man who caused the outbreak, finds himself trapped in a Montauk bunker. His only hope for survival? General Frederick Max, the man who wants him dead more than anyone else. He probably wants him dead, right? Because he's like patient zero. Max sends his top soldier, Jacob, and his team out to rescue Kilwins Kill winds from the far reaches of Long Island. The team faces numerous obstacles: a boy disguised in blood, a fearless leader set on ruling the island, and waves of undead following them. Jacob will learn that staying alive isn't his biggest trial, it's holding on to his humanity. So if you're also a fan of zombies, this is going to be a good pick for you. Also, East Coast horror setting. So he's going to have to hold on to his humanity, even though like he was the one who caused the outbreak. And I mean, can you imagine that burden, that horrible just knowledge that you unleash something onto the world? I don't even know. Like, oh my God. Our last book is Vivid Green and Other Unusual Stories. This is by Jacob Ian DeCoursey, or DeCoursey. This is a debut book, and this features body horror, cosmic horror, dark fantasy, folk horror, gothic, psychological horror, supernatural, and surrealism. These are 5 weird, disturbing, chilling tales. A young woman with a horrifying secret embarks on an erotic adventure punctuated with bloodshed. A displaced holiday figure enacts his Masonic calling into the cavernous subway below New York City. 2 brothers carry their father's ashes across a flooded town in an apocalyptic American South devoid of rainfall. In these stories and more, Green and Other Unusual Stories effortlessly transport readers from the familiar to the uncanny to the downright surreal. At once chilling and darkly humorous, vulgar with pronounced moments of tenderness, Vivid Green explores the humanity within monsters and the monstrosity within humans. I'm pretty sure there's probably a lot of horror about the tunnels. I just haven't ever really thought about it, but I think I want to look for it because it's creepy. Real creepy, and I only want to visit it from the comfort of my couch. So these were the 5 indie horror books that you may not have heard of, but maybe you want to check out. Haha, wink wink. I think you should. My favorites out of this list were Vanilla and Earthly Bodies, especially the Earthly Bodies one, because I'm in a sci-fi mood lately. I've been in a real sci-fi mood. I've been watching a lot of sci-fi for some reason. I don't know, I think I just want to get off the planet. I just think that's what it is. I want to get out of here. So that is the end of this episode. I hope that you liked this video. Please take care of yourselves, look out for each other, and I will talk to you next time.